If you are complaining about Monday blues, spare a thought for Peter Navarro. He is the White House trade advisor and this Monday hit him with images from the SCO. Pictures of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping standing shoulder to shoulder, shaking hands, laughing and even huddling. If you are Navarro, that's the nightmare for you because this is a man who accused India of getting in bed with authoritarians and the next thing he sees are these images going viral. So he responded with what he does best, a rant. Listen to this.
So look, Modi's a great leader, but I don't understand why he's getting into bed with Putin and Xi Jinping when he's the leader of the biggest democracy in the world. I would just simply say to the Indian people, please understand what's going on here. You've got Brahmins profiteering at the expense of the Indian people. We need that to stop.
When in doubt, play dirty. Navarro's latest jab was not just about trade or oil, it was dragging caste into the mix, accusing Brahmins of profiteering all while ordinary Indians suffer. That's not diplomacy or leverage, that's a dog whistle. The idea is to paint India as feudal and corrupt. It is a new law or another level of absurd. Depends on how you see it. Either way, it is not acceptable. This is a man who clearly does not get the facts. First he called Ukraine Modi's war and now he's playing the caste card on Russian oil. He's trying to lecture the world's largest democracy about his own energy needs. So let's give him some perspective. India is doing the world a favor by buying Russian oil. It is keeping global oil price stable. Russia supplies nearly 40% of India's crude imports. If India stops buying from Russia, it will buy from somewhere else. And this will put pressure on other oil suppliers. It will drive up the prices up to $200 a barrel. So like I said, India is doing the world a favor, and when the war broke out in Ukraine, Washington encouraged India to buy oil from Russia. In fact, India's oil minister has reiterated this in an op-ed. He said India has not broken any rules in buying Russian oil. Let me quote from his piece. Every transaction has used legal shipping and insurance, compliant traders and audited channels. India has not broken rules. So India did not break rules and India won't stop the purchases because the Americans have changed their minds. In fact, New Delhi is heading in the other direction. Here's what a new report says that Indian refiners will increase Russian oil purchases in September. They could go up to 10 to 20%, which means another 150 to 300,000 barrels per day. It's coming this month in September. And I'm sure Washington will throw another tantrum. They love lecturing India. But here's what they do not talk about. Europe still buys Russian gas. The US still imports Russian uranium. But it's India that is bankrolling Putin's war. The hypocrisy is glaring. When India buys discounted oil, it is aiding authoritarians. When Europe does it, it is maintaining stability. In fact, Navarro himself admits that the US needs uranium from Russia. If hypocrisy were an energy source, Washington could power the whole of Ukraine. And here's the biggest twist in the tale. Ukraine too buys Russian oil. You heard that right. Navarro may scream that India is a laundromat for Russian oil, but India also happens to be the biggest diesel supplier for Ukraine. We have numbers again. In July 2024, India supplied just 1.9% of Ukraine's diesel needs. Today it makes up to 15.5% of Ukraine's import. Kyiv runs on it, literally. Diesel from India. But try explaining that to Donald Trump or his team. Russia sells crude to India. India refines it and Ukraine buys it. So, is Ukraine too bankrolling Putin's war? Peter Navarro should talk about it, but something tells me he won't. His key responsibility area is just to target India. But guess who's singing a different tune? The US State Department, the US Embassy in India. In the middle of this acrimony, they have launched a charm offensive, a social media post that calls the India-US relationships the defining relationships of the 21st century, complete with hashtags like this. The contrast is comical. One American arms throws punches, the other hands out a friendship band. What do you make of it? Navarro's rhetoric is just a pressure tactic and a poor one at that. Washington still wants India closed, but it will have to make up its mind and mind its words and actions. Thanks for watching.